Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to quite an exciting day, as today is the day that we bring the Lotus back to my new house and put it in the garage. It's pretty cold today, must be said. There's lots of frost around. I got the MG out of the garage yesterday, so I was doing a bit of tidying up, so I'll take you in there now and just show you what's changed. So in the garage, the main thing I've done is just have a real tidy up. You can see behind me I've kind of cleared all of the floor space of all the bits and pieces that were here. The theory being that if I can keep this edging, the green and yellow bit and all the stuff in between clear of other stuff, and that should be enough room to put the Lotus and kind of work around it. So that's kind of the theory. I also took all my shelves apart and put them all back together again, just to sort out some stuff I didn't need and free up as much space as I could. So here I've got an almost free load of shelves, and some of the stuff from here I'm going to try and put above me in sort of the mezzanine floor, but that hasn't been sorted out yet. As you can probably see, it's a real mess up there, but that I'll just have to do another time because I've run out of time really to get that sorted. But one of the things about these garage shelves is these were quite cheap and they do a reasonable job of just storing stuff, but the actual shelves are MDF, and what I found is that they quickly started to bloom mould on the top and on the bottom actually, to such an extent that it was quite thick in places. So I've taken them all off and I've cleaned all the mould off and I've treated them, but I don't know if that's actually going to be a long-term fix. It probably will come back after a time, so I'm probably going to have to think of a different way to either seal these, like paint them probably, or if it's too late for these, maybe try and think of some other alternative wood boards to put on the shelves, but that's kind of a problem for another day. The other thing I've done in here is to try and create a bit more of a work area. Again, I need to tidy this stuff. This is just a big saw table, but I've got my desk here. I thought this might be a good place to maybe put my sort of Haynes manuals or my workshop manuals to flick through there, and I've also repurposed my old PlayStation and an old TV just to maybe put on some inspirational videos, either Harry's Garage or Soup Classic Motoring, to pick me up when I'm hitting a bad task or something like that, or to play games, whatever. And I think that's pretty much it in the garage, just really getting it ready for the Lotus to come. So the plan today then, I'm going to drive over to my mum and dad's where the Lotus has been for the last, well, I suppose year and a bit. I haven't really done anything for at least that amount of time, because we put it there at the end of 21 so that we could tidy up the front of our house to sell it, and I've not done anything on it since then. So it's been a little while since we've had any Lotus on the channel. So what I'll do, go over to my mum and dad's, we'll get it on a trailer, and then once it's back here, maybe I'll go through kind of the story so far and the immediate next steps. See you in a minute. It's home! Amazing! Can't believe it. Finally in a garage after, well, nearly 3 years of ownership now, and I'm just really excited to have somewhere to work on it, and yeah, just get on with the build. So yeah, we'll have a little look around, because you can see what I was talking about with the lines around the car. You can kind of see that there's a gap more or less all the way around, which is kind of why I did the pattern like that. So I didn't mention in the last video, this Plastifor stuff on their website, they've got kind of a floor tile designer which gives you the right amount of packs for a chosen pattern, and I put it all on there, and that's partially the reason why I went with them, to be honest, because they had that feature on there. But yeah, super excited. So like I said, I'll give a little bit of an update on where we've got to so far with the Lotus, from when I bought it to where we're up to now, and then I'll talk about the next steps. So it kind of seems weird recapping the story of the Lotus, as time really has flown with this car, but only feels like I bought it yesterday, but it's been nearly 3 years in my ownership. So May 2020 is when I bought it, sight unseen off of eBay, which is the worst way to buy a car, obviously, but when you're committing yourself to a full restoration, then it really doesn't matter that much what state the car's in if you're prepared to go the distance with it. So this car was found in someone's garage after at least 20 years of being in there. Now, MOTs that I had looked up online show this car as last being MOT'd back in the 80s, so it's actually been off the road for a lot longer than that. And it was previously owned by just one person and has covered 30,000 miles. And that's kind of what drew me to the car, because it was very original, no modifications, and it was complete. So a lot of S2s that you see for sale are often missing parts, or they've been messed around with and that kind of thing. So it was a very sort of honest car, albeit in a very damaged condition in terms of rust and damp. So this garage, I think, must have flooded or something like that. So I bought it May 2020, and for that summer all I really did was kind of get excited about it, the prospect of my very own Lotus Esprit, and I just kind of picked at it, so started taking apart bits of the interior and that kind of thing. And then, because it was at my parents' house, the winter of that year I didn't really do anything with it because of, you know, other commitments and the lockdown kind of changing, and, you know, being able to get out and about a bit more, because remember back then it was May 2020, we weren't really allowed to get out and about the place too much. It was only really being relaxed the following year. So fast forward to February 21, and that's when I brought the car from my parents back to my house where I used to live, so the house I was in before this one. And from February till about August time, I was out there nearly every week doing something with the car, and I tried to bring out as many videos as I could that summer of the progress with it. I feel like I made quite a good progress. I stripped the interior, I went through kind of the frunk, or the front boot, the fruit, or whatever you want to call it, and got rid of the servos in there, and I did the headlamp pods and that kind of thing, and then moved to the back of the car where you can see the lights have gone, and the rear bumper and that kind of stuff, and the fuel tanks have been taken out. And that took us up to about August 21, which is pretty much as far as I got with it. Because the weather started to turn August, you know, going into autumn, I wasn't getting out to do more on the car because A, the weather was bad, and B, the kind of stuff that I'd need to do next, which is start taking the doors off, tailgate off, would open it all up to the elements. And I kind of made the decision then that I wouldn't progress the car until I had a proper space to do it in. So I did kind of look around local classifieds, see if there's any garages to rent, or any sort of workshop space, but everything was just too expensive. But then we were kind of deciding that we would move. So fast forward to beginning of 22, we'd got the car off of the driveway outside of my house and back to my parents, which they were delighted about, but they've been very good actually in all of this sort of process, letting me use their driveway. And we put our house up for sale, and then obviously house stuff takes a while to go through, and finding a new place and that sort of thing brought us to the end of last year, when we only really got round to thinking about bringing the Lotus back, because the garage has been full of bits and pieces, like a bathroom suite when we were having the bathroom done. The floor was a bit rough and I wanted to get some nice flooring down, and we were using it for storage of other things. So that's why we kind of put off bringing it back, but now's the right time to do it, beginning of a new year. And I do have quite ambitious plans with this year. Well, in my mind anyway, it might not be ambitious to some. So the next steps then, kind of leaving from where I left it in, starting off from where I left it in 21, is to try and do things which are opening it up. So tailgate's got to come off, the doors are going to come off, just to make the body light enough so that I can lift it off of the chassis. So there's a few bolts that need undoing, and then lift it off the chassis. It sounds, I'm making it sound easy, I don't really know how easy or hard it is, but then that will reveal the structure underneath and the condition of that, which I still have no clue about. At the very minimum, I think it's going to need to be blasted and repainted. It may need more drastic repairs if things are bent or worn or damaged, but I won't know that until the body's off. And I think getting to the bare chassis is my goal for 23. So body off, and then taking all the suspension off, getting the engine out, and then getting it back to just that bare chassis to get that restored towards the end of the year, beginning of 24 is kind of the goal. So that's it really for this video, bringing the Lotus home. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you agree that it's kind of the start of a new exciting chapter in this garage, of a real sort of restoration in these four walls. And I'll hope to bring you an update very, very soon. One thing I wanted to say was A&R Transport. I'll put their website address on the screen now. Were brilliant. I ended up using them in the end, professionals, rather than me using somebody's trailer, because I was just a bit worried about that. And they're very reasonably priced actually, and great couple of guys who do it. So very recommended. Check them out if you're in the Surrey area, and no doubt I'll use them again soon. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye.